everybody, we are back with the second game of the second round. This is the final game of the second round that we got on camera, so after this, the finals are coming. And we have Sean Stark Clemens versus Tim Bleeds Rowe. Martell versus Stark, an epic showdown. And Tim is, of course, playing his Martell Hollow Hill. And Sean, on the other hand, is House of Dreaming in what I believe... Now, don't get me wrong, do you know what it is right off the top of your head?
I'm not
he's
sure.
ping-ponging these locations around so much that it's hard to tell. We'll know in a second because I'm almost certain it's the Dreadfort, the Bolton thing. I think Sean was on the Bolton kick whenever we were recording this, but we shall see. Tim has Knights of the Hollow Hill in play, and that's it, which is pretty standard. He drops First Stone Winter as his first plot, whereas Sean, on the other hand, has what looks to be a pretty poor setup. He's got the Seas going on, and that's about it. Street of Silk and Seas, which Silk isn't a bad start, for sure. Where are we going, Sean? Sean drops in Randy. Randy!
Oh, Randall Tarley, duping.
So remember, this was before the no quarter restricted list shenanigans, so you can expect Die by the Sword, and I imagine also no quarter coming in for Sean here. What do you expect out of this matchup? So this is the Starks v. the Martells, and the Martells have all of the trickery in the world, whereas the Starks are about the most straightforward house, even though they're not really, but at least in the lore and whatnot, you know, in the source material. They certainly are not the trickiest in the world. So what do you think?
It's going to be really interesting to see Stark's typical advantage is military, and Tim's Bleeds deck doesn't really care about characters.
Correct.
In fact, the deck is built around the idea of clearing the board at least once or twice a game. So I think just naturally going into this game, I would put I have no idea who wins, first off. I also have never played against either of these decks, so I've seen them a lot. But if I had to pick advantage before the game even gets going, I would say Martell.
Yeah, I think so too.
Based on the builds and the style of play, I just think the advantage lies with Tim at this point. All
right, so Tim starts it off. First of all, Sean has played out Dame and Dance for me. In the meantime, it obviously is Dreadfort that he's running there because he drew a card off that. So he's got the House of Bolton thing going on. Tim replies with the Palace Spy, which allows you to search your deck for any influence-producing location. This is a character that used to see no play. It was pretty much under the radar, and now it's, at least for Tim and Josh Slane, both of them really enjoy this guy to get those influence locations out. Can you imagine if you had access to this in Targ? Would that be something that would be a real relief?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's nuts to get that influence.
What's the cost on that card? Do you know?
That's a 2 cost. So it's 2 cost for 2 influence and 2 initiative.
No, I'm talking about the card that goes and gets the location.
Oh, it's 3 costs, and I believe it's 2 strength, intrigue icon only.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. Going to get any number, especially with like the Marine card with the 2 influence. It'd be fantastic if you get whatever you want.
So we have Randy and Damon versus the Palace Spy. This is a pretty standard...
It looked like Damon was dancing.
This is a pretty standard opening for this kind of a matchup. Really just a worthless character versus what appears to be a really threatening board on Sean's side. However, we know that Westeros Bleeds is around. It's even available first turn here. So, it's like...
Yeah,
this could just go bad really quick.
It's a really... not curious, but a good setup where you've got this turn 1 first snow with Hollow Hill, just slows them down, and the idea of Westeros Bleeds, he's really just trying to slow the game down to a point where he can catch up and get past the Stark player.
Not hard. I mean, he's +4 influence, +4 initiative, +2 gold for the rest of the game. So the Hollow Hill player usually has to start out with just trying to gain control, and then the resources kind of do the rest. You notice Sean has actually held back one of his Seas there as a reducer, so he might be preparing for this, and that's really smart. You don't want to put all your eggs out at one time against a Martell player, that's for sure.
Which is really, I mean, that's the benefit of playing Martell. It's not necessarily just the wiping with Bleeds or whatever. It's the idea that, the other player, it's the same thing you face when you think someone can Valor you. You can't just lay everything out on the board. So it's a really weird spot to be in, especially for Sean. I mean, I imagine he could have played something else if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But Bleeds has this mentality, this mental strain on you to kind of just hold back and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's Bleeds and it's Valor, so he has everything. And there's some serious dancing going on.
There is.
I have to. That's an intrigue challenge, and he's gonna Red Vengeance that thing. So already coming out of the gate, it's like, whoa. Sorry, we're Martell. You can't hurt us. And with loyalty money can buy, I think what you pay the claim as if you were the opponent, right? So he's still gonna have to do one.
Yeah. Now, the interesting part of this, I mean, if you were the Martell player there, do you spend Red Vengeance? I guess you're spending it because if he pulls it out of your hand anyway, it's already a wash.
Yeah, he pulls the Bastard Boy. Definitely worth it. I think so. I think the Martell hand is their most important weapon. I believe I saw Bleeds in there, so I think Tim certainly doesn't want to lose it. Randall comes through on the military challenge, clearing out the Palace Spy, and Tim, I think, calling Renown on Damon, but looks like no bueno. So coming back into the standing phase, everything's going to stand up. No bleeds yet, which is just fine. Certainly probably don't want to waste it on a duped character and just a normal guy. So moving on, going to the plot phase, checking things out. Sean is questioning where he wants to go here, and Tim is eyeing the Valor, but
It'd be a curious Valor play if he does.
It would be a very curious Valor play. I would be questioning that decision. So he puts loyalty. No, where the hand cams when you need them.
Man, if he Valor's here, I will be.
Now, what he could be doing is trying to get the Valor out of his plot deck because he's got great characters in his hand. He doesn't want to risk having to Valor them late game. It's like that's what he's going to go with.
Wow.
So there's the Valor versus the Fury. And going to get Damon off the table. Kneeling Influence to save him with rhymes with Meek. Can it be done? I don't know that card well enough to tell you. No,
looks like it cannot be done.
I think it's got to be a holy character or something of that nature. Anyway, Randy's going to save himself. So Sean, unfortunately, has revealed one of his tricks. Maybe he's just going to scare him here.
That's a crazy Valor play. I'm really curious to know what the idea was there. I mean, 0 claim now, and it's only 2 gold. You're going to get the 2 benefit from Hollow Hill, but Sean still has his reducers and Randall out.
Yeah. He still got the board, so it certainly didn't win Tim to war. Maybe he was afraid of getting too far behind. Certainly a possibility. And he also probably wants to set up for a big Westeros Bleeds here as well. He knows he has it this turn, so if he can clear that dupe off Randy, that's just fine. So we go with the Dormish Paranwar here. Really good character. Whenever you attack and win, you can sack it to, I believe, draw 2 cards, reveal 2 cards. One of those Martell tricks.
Oh, Martell.
And pointing at the Palace Spy. Hey, look, it's a spy. Look, do you want it? Hey, here it is. Not sure what that's about, but it's there. You can't do anything about it. So coming back over to Sean again, he's got that Street of Silk. That's going to be a big help in him keeping up with Hollow Hill here, as well as the Street of Steel looks like, and another reducer. So he's got a couple influence to play with too, just in case that needs to happen. You never know.
Yeah, look at right there, that view of Tim's hand. It looks like he's loaded.
It's got Princess plans for sure too. I always, you just go right to the events. That is the Starks excel at characters. They're just good. Martell, it's all about the events. And surprisingly enough, the characters. So Bolton, going to draw a card. He had another copy of the army. Going to play another refugee.
Now, how does the Dreadfort read?
Whenever you play a House Bolton character, you can draw a card.
Is that limited in any way?
You know what? I haven't played with the Boltons or against the Boltons enough, but it looks like it may be because Sean didn't draw. Unless maybe he just forgot there's another Bolton. So, yeah, I believe it's just you can do it up to draw cap.
That's crazy.
Isn't it nuts?
That is crazy.
Talk about an engine that powers itself.
Look at that board.
What House of Dreams did for the Boltons and for Stark is incredible. Now, there's going to be a good round of challenges here, but I can expect a Westeros Bleeds.
If there wasn't a better timed Westeros Bleeds, I don't know when it was.
And Sean probably thinking he's fairly safe because of the Valor. It has already been played. I don't know if he's expecting bleeds or not. And Tim is coming through. Looks like a power challenge. It was repelled.
And here come the Starks. Well, the Boltons, really.
Here come the Boltons, exactly.
I feel like there should be a theme song for that.
Interesting challenge here on Tim's part. Given the 0 clam, I guess he was hoping that maybe he would get a challenge through to get the draw. But I think I would have probably held back to defend a challenge here because you're trying to slow the power gain down. And one less unopposed challenge is certainly a good thing. However, I suppose that plot's going to trigger. Does it trigger on... I don't know if it triggers on Martells. Tim's looking now. He probably thought the exact same thing that I did. Intrigue challenge coming in strong. This is a big pick. And that looks like bleeds, baby.
That's a big pull.
That is about the biggest pull you can imagine. That's the kind of thing that will make Tim crazy. He's probably saying as much right now.
And Sean
one card,
just wipes his brow of the sweat.
Yeah. Looks like Tim's holding yet another red vengeance. However, he does have Prince's plan, so he can get it back for next turn. Sean coming through on the military challenge, and that's going to be a vengeance because the Westeros Bleeds is now gone. And let's see where it goes. Sean's not going to have to pick a character.
See, I'm still wondering about Tim's Valor play here because, I mean, he doesn't have it. So if Sean can keep pulling out the bleeds, there's no real way for him to clear the board.
Absolutely. So the Red Vengeance is coming, and I believe he's going to try another Rhymes with Meek, but it looks like just 2 refugees are out of here. Because the Boltons that raised the claim, I believe. So there you have that.
That's unfortunate.
And then Make an Example coming in strong with Make an Example. Wow.
Man.
The Bolton rush is here.
Sean's feeling halfway home.
Yep. He's doing well. In fact, his power is quite high. He's looking at 7 power on his house right now. And that's it's
8.
Pretty incredible. Wow. 8 more. Dominance coming through, so... This is a game that Tim's going to have to get control of very quickly if he wants to advance to the next round and make the Martell Bleeds deck a thing to be feared. Sean having a good time with it. And both these guys play. It's usually very competitive, but there's certainly mutual respect, I think. Once you get to this level especially, you see a lot of mutual respect in the plays and the joking around kind of mixed in with the intent seriousness. As all good games should be.
At the end of the day, all of us want to be king.
Absolutely. You win or you die.
It's true.
But, you can have some laughs in between there. Drink some ale. And Sean doing the old plot deck drop move.
What he did,
he distract his opponent.
He had a plot stored on the floor just in case that he could go get.
Yeah, now he's going to drop his Winter Festival.
Need more power.
So where do you go here as Tim? You're in a bit of a bind.
If it were me, I'd be playing Valor.
You're playing Threat from the North right now is what you'd be doing. So take them by surprise and Minstrel's Muse. Pretty good play by Tim here, I think, taking the initiative away from Sean. He was playing Minstrel's Muse. Now, he's got to be very, very careful that Sean does not win dominance here. This could easily be the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, assuming Sean wins initiative there, even, the Bolton that raises the claim, he could, with a single Make an Example added on it, it could be a
nasty power challenge. The only thing really keeping that from happening is Tim's lack of power. So Tim's also going to have to be careful that he doesn't just get unopposed power that Sean then takes from him to clear the game.
And Tim's got to somehow win dominance.
And that's going to help him a lot. There's the Viper's Bannerman. He grabs some influence and another Palace Spy. C comes out for free, enabling a bit more tools for him. You'll notice he has 2 Red Vengeance and 1 Bleeds in his discard pile, and that's got to make Sean feel a lot better about his plays coming up here very soon.
Now, when can Prince's plans actually be used?
It's during the dominance phase.
Okay.
Whenever you pull everything back out. Yeah. And there goes Sir Eris. It looks like he's not going to trigger his response to drop an ally, I don't believe. Looks like there isn't one. Unless Sir Eris is a passive, I can't. One of them's a passive.
No, this is when he comes into play.
Is it a response, though, or is it a must-happen?
I think it's a response.
Okay. We shall see. If you got a question, look it up. Going back over to Sean, looks like. Now, one good habit to get into, I will say, when you're playing against anybody, is to use your reducers during your action windows on their turn.
Yes.
So it's an easy habit to get out of, and it's kind of really annoying. There's Old Nan. Nice.
Dropping the old Bolton trait.
Yeah, that's going to give Sean the ability to give the Bolton trait as well as to potentially go for an outwit here if he's worried about a wind revealed. Now, I don't know if he runs it in his plot deck. Probably not, because it's not terribly consistent with Old Nan. Boom! Frozen Solid.
That's a big deal.
And that's the good reason to use whatever you're going to use as early as possible. Tim couldn't have done anything in that instance, but again, if that had been a Frozen Solid on a Street of Sisters, then would have had an impact. So -2 influence, that's going to be a huge deal.
Totally.
Here.
Now, I mean,
very big deal. He's now down to 2 influence, can't play the Prince's plans, and look at the plans that he had. Look at what he was, this is what was intended. That discard pile of 2 red vengeances, a bleeds, and a summer sea. Sean having all of the answers here. It's pretty unreal. I've not seen this amount of answers in a game against him in a long time.
Now, I do want to talk about something that I think is extremely important when it comes to Thrones, and that is closing games. If you're Sean here, you've got the plot out where you can win dominance and get a whole bunch of power, but what are you thinking to close this off?
Yeah, it's a good question. He's going to win dominance. I think we understand that. So he has to be planning for +4 power. So he's got to find a way to get enough power to win the game here. Now the problem here is he's down to 2 cards, it looks like, and even with all the Bolton drawing, it just wasn't enough to really keep that hand full. So Tim is going to come through with a power challenge, which helps to slow Sean down. And then he's also going to Parting Blow off of that Dormer's Paramour leaving play, which he drew into, which is a very, very big deal right now.
That is a huge deal.
That is, in fact, I can't even quite explain how big of a deal that draw was right there.
What's great is how fast he played it.
That was huge. Huge. Now the Boltons can no longer raise the claim. So you're looking at 1 claim across the board. Man, it could have been a 2-claim challenge coming out. And it looks like Eris is coming in on the military challenge, forcing, if he wants to kneel down both of the Boltons. Instead, he's just going to go unopposed and take it. That's going to open him up for a power challenge and an intrigue or a military challenge on the Retaliation. However, Tim could have any number of things. Could have another Red Vengeance, and that
would be awful.
That would be a big deal. So coming through looks like a power challenge. So 1 for unopposed and 1 from Tim's house. That puts Sean at 9 power.
Now Sean has leftover gold too, so he doesn't need to leave someone standing necessarily.
And he's going to go right to dominance. So could have been a mistake there. That's going to short him 1 power and potentially a card out of hand. But he may have been weary of tricks and anything that could have changed that outcome. So he played it safe. Sean now needs 2 power to win this game, and it's going to be a slog for Tim if he wants to crawl out of this thing. The plots in your plot deck right now are probably different than the ones you actually want. A lot of times you're looking at really control-y plots, really get me back in the game plots whenever you just need something that can seal you the deal right now. High initiative, maybe high claim.
I was going to say, if I'm Sean, I just want to go first.
I want to go first, and I want to put out as many bodies as humanly possible. As many Boltons, draw some cards, and fortified position. Quite a bit different than what you might actually want. And breaking and entering. So Tim actually takes the initiative and takes 2 claim here. This is a huge way for him to turn this game around. Going to be a close one for sure. This period right here is exceptionally important. This turn is kind of mind-blowing right now.
And I mean, I don't know what's in Sean's plot deck, but it could have been just the fact that he didn't think he could beat Tim in initiative with Hollow Hill.
Yep, and that's a pretty fair thing to think with just +2. He did free solid that fiefdom, so it gave him a lot better shot. But I don't know, maybe if you're running Make an Example and you're really coming out of the gate strong, initiative perhaps more of an important issue. Now, fortified position, interesting play here. It still doesn't blank the House Bolton trait, so that's going to be good for Sean drawing cards. But it is going to blank things like House Bolton, the Bolton's boys, that army. And yeah, I understand why it's in the plot deck. Tim can't take control of Bolton's whenever it's there. I think that makes a lot of sense. I wonder what else was in Sean's plot deck that he might play. I think he might be worried at this point about losing some of his Boltons over to Tim's side since he knows Tim is going to go first. Probably a smart play, definitely a safe play. But could he have won initiative? I don't know. That is an important question. And if he couldn't have, perhaps the plot deck needs a little look-see. Or does it? He's in round 2 of the top 8. Who am I to talk?
And he's up 13-3.
And he's up 13-3. That's right. So where is Tim going to go?
If you're Tim, that's a good question. How are you fighting back from this? Obviously, you're playing a bunch of things on the table. You're going first. What?
Tim at this point has sacrificed his build of influence in order to put some characters down, because he's looking at his hand. He's got 2 princess plans and a bunch of Martell characters, and Martell characters are great. Their events certainly are kind of what we talk about, but their characters are excellent. And getting a board like that out, now we have ourselves a game. This is gonna be a fight now. This is no tricks. This is just aggression and retaliation that we're about to witness here.
Is that Doran?
That is Doran Martell. Absolutely.
Do you know how he reads?
Doran Martell, whenever you attack, I think after a player attacks you, they have to discard a card at random from their hand. I've only seen him in Melee. I'm really happy to see him here in the Joust deck. I think it's a very strong ability. I don't know if it's when you lose a challenge or just when a player initiates a challenge against you. I'm almost certain it's whenever they initiate a challenge against you. Super thematic, really awesome. Makes me quite curious about Doran, just in the grand scheme of the Game of Thrones and his role in the books. And what Sean plays here is just going to be critical. And look at how few cards he has. This is not where you want your card draw and your deck to stall out.
Yeah, there's nothing like getting to 13 and 14 power and not being able to squeeze it.
Pay 1 for a reducer, not what you wanted. Not what you want to see. He knows whatever card he doesn't play is going to get chucked to either an Intrigue Challenge or Doran Martell, so he should probably do whatever he can to play them both out.
It's a very rough spot to be in.
Yeah, where are the Boltons, right?
I think they died earlier.
Where are the Boltons? And you've got to wonder, is Sean now planning for a next turn Valar? And is Tim running Power of Blood or not? You also got to think, if there's any attachments to locations in Sean's hand, he better be careful, because breaking and entering is on the board. And you don't want anything to go to your opponent. And I must say, actually, now that I am here, ooh, man, that is a Bolton thing that I do not know. I do not know what that is. I know of it. I've seen it a million times. It's something about loyalties, like...
Where loyalties lie?
Dubious loyalties is what it is, yeah. I want to correct myself from earlier, because all characters are blanked. Which means Doran Martell's ability isn't going to happen, and it's going to be an interesting slog.
So really, the Doran play there at this point is just about the icons and the strength.
It's a body, it's icons, it's the strength, it's a guaranteed Intrigue Challenge, which is nice. Dubious Loyalties is really interesting. I believe it's you take control of the character if you win a challenge by X strength or something. You guys will have to look that one up. I apologize that we just don't know it. The Boltons have just recently come around, so after a year and a half of playing, still don't know it all that well. Because let's face it, the Boltons used to just be a silly deck.
Interesting, but silly.
Interesting, but silly, yeah.
All right, so Tim, it looks like here is going for, I'm going to guess military?
I'm going to have to believe it's military, but then again, Tim's Wily could be a power challenge. We'll know whenever the claim is paid here in just a sec. Man, what a moment, right? Man, what a moment. Yeah, 2-claim initiative with now the board position against what was just this magnificent Stark board. You've got to be saying what happened. And you know what happened is the card draw. If you look at the past 2 turns, that Dornish Paramour drawing cards was such a big deal. Parting blowed out, that Bastards Boys, the whole thing. We have a full defense here, and that's going to give control of Sir Aerys Oakheart. is going to come in. Dubious Loyalties is discarded. What a card. Wow.
That's a big deal.
And Tim is got the finger wag going on. But he's going to get an Intrigue challenge. Rhymes with Meat comes out of there. And he's going to get a power challenge as well to claim. Ugh. And one for unopposed. So all of a sudden, we have ourselves a game here. 3 characters versus 4. Again, Sean is not really in a position of valor here, but he's out of a hand. Right now, he needs cards more than anything in the world. He just needs cards, almost in a play counting favors kind of way.
That'd be great. Now, it is worth noting, for a moment there, Sean was actually at 14 power.
Yes.
Because he stole Sir Ares, so he was desperately close.
And he does have Take Them by Surprise.
What?
He does have it.
What?
So if he had played it last turn, what would the difference be? Now, he had to worry. I think he had to worry that Tim might have a high initiative plot that was going to cause him to discard his hand. Maybe.
But, I mean, Tim had already played Take Them by Surprise.
He had.
So you know that's not happening.
That's not in.
And he has the King's Road fiefdom. Frozen.
Yeah, so I don't think there's a plot that... I mean, King's Law is about the only thing, but
if there was a plot in my brain that I could have wanted to play in that moment of my gaming life, Take Them by Surprise was it.
Knowing he had Dubious Loyalties, too.
Right?
So he could have taken control of that one power. Ooh, nice. We're going to play another Bolton and get a card draw. Looks like an event, though, unfortunately. Looks like the Flayed Men, I believe, over there. Sitting on 2 cards. And this is ultimately what slows down some of these more aggro-based decks, like Stark or Greyjoy or even the Baratheons, is just stalling out because the cards aren't there, as opposed to Martell, Targaryen, and Lannister, who kind of pull out of that early game curve and draw the heck out of some cards and start to solidify the board. It's just economy. It's just a lot of economy.
I still cannot believe he did not play Take Them by Surprise last turn. I am not going to get over that.
Your jaw is kind of on the floor right now.
He is going to get ridiculed by me. It's the next time I see him. That is crazy to me.
I'm sure there's a great, but let's imagine. So if he had played Take Them by Surprise, swung all in on a power challenge with Dubious Loyalties on Sir Ares, he would have won, right? He was at 14 whenever he stole Ares, so he would have stolen a power.
Tim has another red vengeance.
If Tim has vengeance, yeah.
So I wouldn't have gone all in, but I mean, you have a 7-strength army, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's any number of tricks that
raises claim. Like, you don't need to go all in.
Interesting.
And at that point, Tim, I think, only had like 1 character on the board.
It appears to be a safe play versus potentially a game-winning play, but we'll have to get Sean on that. Maybe we can have him on the podcast or something. Talk about his
so that
play
I can
there.
make fun of him.
I'm sure there was a really good reason.
Well, if he wins, it's one thing, but if he loses, he's getting ridiculed.
So we have High Septon coming into play for Tim. So again, some power grabbiness going on. And Arya and Martell, this is the Martell suite. It just doesn't get any better.
This is not what you want to see.
Crazy amount of characters doing great stuff here.
I have not seen a Power of Blood, which I assume is there based on the characters on the board.
You have to assume.
It's not what Stark wants to see.
No, it's certainly not. And Sean's in a position where he does have, let it be known, he does have 13 power on the board. So if he can get a power challenge here with the Bastards Boys, I believe does raise claim on all challenges.
Yep.
Could be mistaken on that. It could be just military, but I'm almost certain it's all challenges. So my thinking would be he can swing in on a power challenge. Can he win? If he can, that's a big deal.
Well, especially because Sir Ares has renown.
Yes.
So if you can do
even if he just single challenge.
Sir Ares and the Bastards Boys together, assuming no red vengeance, which is not what you want to see here. And Tim's already played 2, so the odds aren't bad.
Looks like we have I believe that's the Loyalist going in on an Intrigue challenge, which is going to be opposed.
Or not.
Or not. Because loyalty money can buy is claim 0. You're
But
really
if
going to give him an unopposed challenge
power?
here, Tim? You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. He's going to trigger Doran. Looks like. Discard Endless Endurance.
What?
And did Sean... not claim his... oh, no, Vengeful. Sorry, Dorn has Vengeful.
Got it.
Yeah. Whew. I was almost
So that worked out for
there.
Tim,
Yeah.
that exchange.
Yeah, just melt the
Seems
character.
good.
It's basically a reverse intrigue challenge.
Now, see, if
Sean's
Sean...
got to be kicking himself here.
If Sean had gone Bastard Boys first, right?
Well, I mean, if Sean even just goes military
Well,
first.
here's the Bastard Boys. Power with Sirius. And we'll
we
see what
assume
happens.
it's power. We assume it's
It's
power.
got to be, right?
Yeah. Remember, claim is 0 now. That is important to note, something that we weren't considering, unless the boys do raise the claim. Interesting thing, if Sean swings instead of that intrigue challenge, if he starts with a military challenge,
That's
that
what I'm
exact same character, he has to kneel Viper's Bannerman and let it go unopposed, which then opens up the power challenge.
Absolutely. Even at this point, if he'd just taken Randall for a military.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but it's either unopposed or 0 claim.
He's
so
looking
it's
for,
fine.
he's got to be looking for unopposed power here. Looks like that is going to be opposed.
Well, if Sean wins the power, the claim's up by 1 and Sirius claims.
Yes. It's true. And so that power challenge is opposed, and it looks like Sean passed the challenges over.
This is insane.
I think he could have had it there. I think he absolutely could have had it there. Wow, what a game, man. Randy's going to oppose the power challenge, and looks like lose it. Claim is raised. Not certain about this here.
Sean gets
And
dominance
Sean
and they're
gets
rolling around.
1 for dominance.
So that turn is huge.
I think that was there were some things there that could have been done different.
What?
It looks like it, right? It looks like that he could have won the game there. If I'm not mistaken, you swing military, you force the Bannerman down or up, unopposed, and then you can go all in on the power challenge. And you've got the power to win it, I'm almost certain.
Well, and the crazy part is, even if you don't, he's going to have to block with everything to not lose it.
And he chucked an Endless Endurance, which I'm
Strength.
plus
like,
2 strength.
My mind is just blown
He has
right
another
now.
one in his hand, though. That's why. So he has 2 in his hand. So I can't think that he couldn't have won that power challenge. I can't think that. I can't believe it.
Reason number 2, to make fun of Sean.
Only because he's a great player.
Okay, let's see if he, now at 12-8,
This is not looking good.
a Martell suite with 2 claim, can pull it out.
And there's two, not only 2 claim on Retaliation, but 3 from Aryan's challenge. So that's a 3 claim power challenge coming in. We've got High Septon, essentially a power bomb on the board for an additional 2 power. So now it actually looks like this is quite in reach for Tim to claim. No doubt.
I think Tim could win it this turn
Yeah.
if Sean's not careful.
He's got to be careful here.
I am blown away by the last turn. It's crazy too because up until that point, Sean played. In my opinion, he was doing things right. It was very strong playing.
Stellar Bolton game.
And got way ahead. Way ahead. It was like 13-3 ahead. And the worst feeling ever is getting up 13-3 and letting it slide through your fingers.
Absolutely. Comes back to sealing those games, man. And as an aggro-y house, as a Stark or as a Greyjoy or as a Baratheon, sealing the game is a very important concept to really pay attention to. For the Martells and the Targaryens, not so much. You guys can kind of play around, and once you gain control, you kind of gain control, and that's the end of it. Same with the Lannisters.
Particularly against Martell and Targaryen, you've got to close.
You're on the clock against these houses. You're on the clock.
You need to close the door, especially even more so against a Hollow Hill build. Like once you get past turn 4 or so against Hollow Hill, it's rough. If they've got draw and the extra gold, they've got the advantage.
They've got the advantage. Yeah, it takes about 2 turns for them to catch up to what is hopefully a good setup of yours. And without that, or without you putting the pressure on and closing it out early, they're going to have the resource advantage, no doubt in my mind. We've got all sorts of stuff going on here. That's a great character to play there. It's a Bolton, so he's going to get card draw. That's not Roos. It's the other one. Man, I remember that guy so good. Tricon. I'm sorry, Bolton players. I just can't remember the names. But look at him. He's great.
Isn't that Ramsey?
He calls it thinking, and the Red Viper comes in. It may be. He calls it thinking. I remember his ugly face. You know that he's unique.
Is that not how Boltons are?
Yeah, they are. Apparently, if you read the books, oh man, another Viper's Bannerman gets played. Nasty.
Not fun.
So the Boltons are not happy. You see Sean's face has changed a bit. He's locking into serious mode for sure, which he needs to do.
About 2 turns ago.
This is a board. I mean, look at what happens if you Valor this. Tim gets 4 cards and 2 power.
It is not what you want to see.
No, and you clear your board. He's got cards in hand. This is in control, I think, at this point for the Martells. Sean's going to have to do something really unexpected and exceptional to get back on top here. Can he do it?
This is unreal.
It is.
It is
unreal. What a game, man.
I can't. It's crazy.
But this is what Game of Thrones gives you that no other game really does. Like, this is a battle of kings right here, you know? It really is, and it feels like it. This is intense.
Look, that is a power challenge like I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So Sean's wanting to raise a claim, which would be 2 power, and get renown, which would get him to 15. So Tim has to win this power challenge, or potentially Red Vengeance it. And Sean does have that endless endurance sitting in hand. So Tim not only needs to win it, he needs to win it like a champ.
Like a champion, that's right. Sean's still sitting at a lusty 12 power. So
totally within striking distance.
This is a challenge right here. What's going to happen?
I've got to ask myself why this didn't happen last turn. Before Tim had a second Viper's Bannerman out.
Tim's counting all over the place.
See, and I'm again.
He's got 14 with a Bannerman. Ugh.
Maybe Sean was concerned about Red Vengeance, but would you have done a military first with the lone standing character?
I think so.
Because he's either got to block with something or kill something. One of the two,
yeah,
right?
and that's gonna help. That's gonna help your odds of winning.
Oh man, he's leaving one standing. Oh
He's
no,
gonna
they're
block
all in.
Absolutely everything. This is the battle that you write about. You write home. You send the Raven back home to proclaim the conclusion of this struggle.
If you're not dead.
Here. If you're not dead. And he's going to bounce because Sean had to play first snow. Oh, gosh. That makes it even worse. There's no way he's going to win this challenge.
Oh, boy.
There's no way.
I will note, if Sean doesn't Valor next turn, vengeful.
I don't. Vengeful's usually only on the defense, yeah.
Isn't Tim defending?
He's redeclaring defenders because there was the misplay with 2-cost characters not returning to hand. So that does affect the math here. And this is not good. Not good for Sean. So the battle, essentially, imagine this battle taking place, right? You think you have the strength, and then some people desert you, essentially. They get lost in the snow.
They get eaten by snow.
And then the Martells in the desert as you approach. The Viper's Bannermen are riding out, deflect the challenge.
That was a 3-claim power challenge, by the way.
Doran and Aryan come back through and basically retaliate 2-claim. And I think he did an intrigue challenge there, which is surprising.
No, he did the power first.
Okay, he did the power first.
Excellent. Raised the claim.
Good. Okay.
That's why he's at 13 and Sean's at 9.
Excellent. So 13. So now if Tim were to have his Valor, he could win the game.
That's not fair.
And boom. That's what he says. Basically, hey, I've got the High Septon. I've got this game no matter what.
Wow.
What a game, man. What an incredibly good game. So thank you guys for watching. I'll be reeling from that one for a while. The next game we will have up will be the finals. So we will see Tim playing in these finals. And congratulations to both these guys, Tim and Sean. Excellent game. And thank you guys for watching.
And if you've learned anything by watching this game, close the game.
Close it out. We'll see you next time.